Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Danny Flores with OC Power Players, and today we have Nicholas zooming from Newport. Nicholas is trained as an international banker and subsequently as an M&A banker, focused on the middle market private firms, and he has over 2 decades experience in finance and investments in the United States, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. Since 2014, Nicholas has been acting as the CFO, dispensing advice to CEOs and boards of privately owned firms on bank debt, high bonds, and equity raising, debt restructuring, M&A, and corporate governance, with a particular focus on tech, manufacturing, and real estate firms. Nicholas holds an MBA in finance and real estate from Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania and a master's in the Middle Eastern Studies of University of Chicago. Welcome, Nicholas.
Well, thank you very much, Danny, and good to be here.
That's quite of accomplishments that you have there. Give us a little bit of a snapshot of what you do now and the journey that it took to get there.
Well, in a nutshell, without boring your listeners, I am a consummate finance and investments individual, having been in banking. I cut my teeth in international banking some years back, some 4 decades back, actually, to the date. And then when I got my MBA from Wharton, like most of my classmates, I entered Wall Street, and I was a junk bond analyst. We have a very prominent person in LA by the name of Michael Milken. He's the godfather of the junk bond business. So I'm one of his so-called disciples. Fast forward when I moved to, I'm Iranian, by the way. I'm Iranian born. Mm-hmm. And I know that California is a land of immigrants, especially immigrants of recent arrivals, mostly Iranians who are very active in business, investments, and tech. I moved to this country 50 years ago, but I grew up in Chicago. And one of my regrets is that why I did not move to California back then in 1977 when I did in Chicago. I moved to California in 2000, and I met my lovely wife, Holly, who's a lawyer, and God gave us a son, Cyrus, who was born here. From 2005 to 22 rather, my family and I, we were American expats. We lived in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi. And my wife is an international lawyer, and I was an investments person working for the governments of Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi, where they have huge amounts of wealth. My background when I was working for the sheikhs over there was mostly investments in power projects, aviation, oil and gas, and steel as of late. When our son, who was born in Newport Beach, his Hope Hospital grew up when he grew up in Dubai, and when he came of age, he applied to schools, and we didn't want him to get a non-American education, so he applied and he was admitted to Berkeley, University of California at Berkeley. So all of us would return back home to Newport Beach. It was a plug and play for us, where we had always maintained a residence. And so that's 2 years back. And our son is about to graduate in about 5 months' time. He's in Dubai now enjoying himself, because right now it's about 25 minutes before the clock strikes midnight, and so he's enjoying himself at a bar right now. He can legally drink over there. And I'm very, very happy and blessed to be in this country. This country has been very, very good to me and my family. So that's the story of my life, finance and investments. And currently, I'm very, very much into artificial intelligence as far as it reflects on defense and surveillance and so on and so forth, because I think with the coming administration, the floodgates will open up on things AI related, with direct applications in healthcare, defense and intelligence, and as well as financial services. So that's where I'm focusing my intent. And as far as my projects, I am heavily engaged in a couple of endeavors in Saudi Arabia in terms of agricultural technology, as well as I'm an advisor to a couple of foundations and boards here in Orange County, including one item which is very close to my heart, which is mental health care for recent immigrants. I'm a member of a board of directors of Nowruz Foundation, where they provide low-cost mental care to immigrants as well as to students. So that's about me.
Wow, no, that's amazing, everything that you've done. And so is there a lot of competition in what you do? And what sets you apart from everybody else to be able to have such high performance?
Well, thank you for that question. Honestly, in all humility, nothing sets me apart from the guy or the gal next door. Every one of us, we're God's creatures and we are unique in our own separate ways. We have different ways of performing on this planet. I have been lucky. I think luck and also providence has a lot to do with it. But like most immigrants, hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Came here, nobody handed anything to me. And I had some couple of good mentors. Mentorship really matters. People who will take you by the hand and provide your guiding light. And I've been fortunate. And of course, the most important thing, which is important to me as an immigrant, and it should be for most, is the fact that America is a land where opportunities to get in higher education are
Mm-hmm.
limitless.
Right.
And one would be foolish not to take advantage of that. And this country is full of good schools. So I was able to get into the right schools at the time, and I was able to build a foundation where the likely employers saw me and they saw the potential in me, and the rest is all history.
No, thank you for that. That's great. And that is true that everybody in this country needs to realize that we do have the best education and we should all take advantage of it, whether we're immigrant or born in this country. I mean, it's land of opportunity without a doubt.
Indeed. Absolutely.
And so what comes easy to you that others might find a little bit more difficult? What do you think your talents are to
I
be able?
think, I don't want to pontificate about my generation, but I'm 63 years of age, so I'm towards the tail end of the baby boomers. I think one thing our generation sets us apart from the Gen Zs or the millennials is the fact that hard work still does matter. And number two, and I think a lot of people probably regard this as self-evident, is the fact that one has to wake up in the morning with a goal in mind. Now, that goal doesn't have to be lofty. I'm not here to be the first person to walk on the moon or planet Mars, where Elon Musk is going to move into. Just looking forward to the first thing in of my day. How do I start my day? Whether it's having a nice cup of coffee, or for some people is a nice prayer, for some people working out. For me, is my nice cup of coffee and walking on the beach. And that gives me energy and sustenance for the day. And I have learned that one has to live in the present. That's really, really, really critical. If you look at past tense, it was present at the time.
Right,
And
right.
future will soon become present. So live in the present, plan, but at the same time, I've always been mindful of the fact that planning is good. However, sometimes the forces of nature work in some ways that you should basically submit to them.
Mhm.
So I'm
That is
fairly old school, but that's my I guess that's the last of me as a baby boomer.
Right. That's what works. It keeps you grounded and keeps you moving. We all use different ways to do that, and listening to what other people do, morning rituals or whatever they are, is a great way to kind of learn from that at the same time. Now, if somebody that's listening to us and wants to kind of follow the career path that you've taken, what do you suggest would be I don't want to say the easiest way, because it doesn't sound like it's easy, and anything good isn't easy. Just what would make it, I guess, less challenging to get there?
I would tell them, don't. I think 2025 is going to be a seminal year. Artificial intelligence is bound to make an impact if it has not done so. In fact, when we hear about artificial intelligence, it just so far it's been mostly flash in the pan. But going forward, as applications of artificial intelligence become more evident, defense, intelligence, financial services, healthcare, anyone who wants to study and become not only productive in their lives going forward over the next 20, 30, 40 years, they have to think carefully as to what sort of studying or academic career they're going to choose, because what I chose, which was finance, may or may not be good anymore.
Mhm.
Artificial intelligence is going to upend most things that we have thought about normal in our lives. So it's very, very important. And what's going to come next, nobody really knows. So I
Mhm.
cannot really enlighten people as to looking at my magic crystal ball as to what's going to be. But I think artificial intelligence and its applications, good, bad, or ugly, will be something that any aspiring student will have to be cognizant of and be fairly educated about it, not only on the technical side, if they could be, but also on its applications into the emerging technologies, emerging sectors. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs because of AI. Already,
Right.
AI, you can talk to, you call a company and a bot speaks to you. So one has to take their steps very carefully as to what's going to be the emerging sectors in an economy that Donald Trump is going to open up, and what
Right.
happens after Donald Trump. I don't care about the administration. So that's the pathway. But this pathway, it was clear during my days. Get an education, go to work on Wall Street. Now, I don't know what it is. It's very nebulous because it's a work in progress. It's how would I say?
Mhm.
We are present at creation,
Right.
but what happens upon creation, what sort of creatures will come out, nobody knows yet. So one has to be prepared for that. It's going to be uh, nebulous, but it's exciting at the same time because the opportunities could be endless, but at the same time, risks could also be endless.
Right. 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 And the thing is that what's the risk? We don't know yet.
We do not know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes it super interesting. Now, in your career, what has been one of the biggest challenges that you've encountered?
Look, I read a book some time back. You know, you would think that you go to the best schools, get the best education, make the right contacts, and your whole world is open to you. That may or may not work.
Mhm.
But at the same time, to be in the right network, to be in the right corporate environment, that's key because many of us become corporate employees of whatever kind. But within every corporation, despite what bold letters say, there's an in team. One thing I learned is that, and that's something they don't teach you in business school. They may teach you statistics and finance, whatnot, but they don't teach you how to play the politics of corporations. And I'm being very, very honest with you. So one
Right.
has to understand how the political game, the chess game is being played out at a company. If you want to be a corporate guy or a corporate girl,
Right.
and those who succeed are not necessarily the best and the brightest. Those who succeed are those who know how to play the game, how to network,
Mhm.
but not necessarily with the right network or the wrong network, with the network that matters.
Right.
And it's a question of being admitted to that network because sometimes you may knock on the doors of that network, they may not even want you. So to be part of the right team, and the right team is not a bad thing or a good thing. I don't want to ascribe any value judgment to it, but it's the team that will take you afar.
Right.
And to be in that, if that's one's goal. Otherwise, I think is to get the education, but try to be in a state of grace and serenity. You may not become another Elon Musk with $400 billion of net worth, but as long as you have enough so that you can have health and distribute health and prosperity and love to those around you and your loved ones and within your family and your community to which you belong.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. And it looks like things are going very well for you. And congratulations on your career and what you've done and what you keep doing. Seems like you haven't stopped and you're going to keep going and trying to bring a positive impact to the world. Other business owners such as yourselves also look aside from their regular business to look for passive investments to create, set themselves up for retirement or to create an additional stream of income. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a good question. Look, um, I am invested. And once you reach the retirement age, which to me, let me give you a little bit of background. As you enter your 60s, 50s, you need to have two things because Uncle Sam is not going to take care of you. You need to have health and you need to have some retirement money so that you can enjoy your life to the best way you can.
Right.
So you don't end up as a pauper. Investing, in my view, there are two methods of investing that will pay off in the long term. Number one is real estate. Real estate, real estate. No matter what, California land is not that much. This is a very crowded state of 40 million people. But I would say for someone who wants to assure themselves of some sort of wealth accumulation, it's engaging in buying real estate. And number two, buying equities, but not any kind of equities. There are many ways to be fleeced by these brokers. Get yourself what is called an ETF, exchange traded fund, that is low cost in nature. So, for example, if you feel that there's a major trend going on in the world, let's say artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
look for ETFs that build on that major global macro theme and invest in that because ETF is automatic. It's made out of a bunch of stocks off an index and it automatically buys and sells and it's low cost. Make sure whatever you do in the equities market, you don't pay some broker or intermediary brokerage fees because these days information is at your fingertip. You can find information on anything free of charge, especially with AI that will help you. Chat GPT, just type in what stock to buy.
Right.
So I would say real estate investments, it is illiquid, but it's good for those who have homes in California, especially in Southern California or Northern California. You can see how prices have gone up, especially after COVID. And it's the best, I would say, best antidote to inflation to buy real estate. And of
Right.
course, ETFs. In certain sectors that you feel that will be of major importance. In my view, ETFs in healthcare, artificial intelligence, as well as certain companies that that will, over the next 20, 30 years, will be of utmost importance strategically. And to me, one sector that I've taken an active interest in is rockets. You have companies such as SpaceX or this company up in Long Beach called Rocket Lab. By the way, I'm not soliciting any information or I'm not providing investment advice. All I'm saying is that given the trajectory of things going on, there's going to be a lot of money to be made in anything that has to do with space exploration.
Mm-hmm.
That's why companies such as Elon Musk or this company in California or elsewhere could be interesting place to look at, and there's already funds for that. And then the second ETF that I could think of, a class of ETFs, is something that has to do with quantum computing.
Mm-hmm.
So artificial intelligence in your right hand and in your left hand, quantum computing. These two trends will have major investment outcomes. So look at those two trends and find in particular, narrow down the field into what sort of ETFs invest in that.
That's really good suggestions. And anybody who's listening, like you said, you're not giving any advice. So everybody should go out and just kind of investigate, take a look at these ETFs and whatever works for them, right? Whatever type of real estate works for them. That's great.
Yes.
So as we wrap up our interview, what does 2025 look like for you? It's a big year coming in with a new president.
Honestly, in my 63 years that I've been on this planet, and over the past 40 years where I've been able to be on this journey of mine with its ups and downs and more downs than ups, but I'm still standing because life is a journey. I think 2025 is going to be a seminal year. We have whether one voted for Trump or not, what's going to happen globally will be determined by what's going to happen at the White House. And certain themes can be discerned. And I think 2025 may be the most exciting year for most of us, on the plus side or on the negative side. So I look forward to that, because massive changes, because what's going to happen with Trump is going to reflect itself to strategically, globally, regionally, as well as scientifically. 2025. That's why some people call it the Trump trade, so to speak.
Right. No,
You might as well ask Elon Musk about that.
right. Yeah, no, that's definitely something exciting for the country and probably for the world at the same time. To see, you gotta see how it goes, how it all settles in, and just hope for the best for everybody, right? That everybody
Absolutely.
it covers, it does good for everybody. That's the main idea.
That's it. Yes.
Well, Nicholas, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your journey with us today. It's great to have you on here. If somebody out there is listening to us and wants to get a hold of you, what would be the best way?
Oh, well, they can, I think the best way would be to find me on LinkedIn. Every now and then I engage in writing pieces on investments and geopolitics and whatnot. Um, or they can look me up. I'm not going to say Yellow Pages, that's passe, but Nicholas, Nicholas, Gilani, Gilani. And either you find me at Costco, not the neighborhood Costco, but I think the best way to put aside the joking is that they can approach you and find out about where they can locate me. And you can provide to them my email and my phone number if they're interested.
Absolutely. Would be happy to make that connection. And once again, thank you so much.
Pleasure. All the best. Thank you again.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.